Welcome. This is a series of audiobooks and insightful lectures brought to you by Akanksshaa, dedicated to exploring timeless wisdom and spiritual teachings. Each recording is generated with love, honoring my journey and my connection with higher guidance, especially in tribute to my son Arnav, who now guides me from beyond. May these words awaken the divine love within you, bring you peace and inspiration on your own path, and may divine light within shine bright. May whatever merit arises from these readings be for the benefit of all sentient beings. Namaste. I am going to read a book by Paramahansa Yogananda, and the title of the book is The Divine Romance, Collected Talks and Essays on Realizing God in Daily Life, Volume 2. This particular talk title is Magnetism, the Inherent Power of the Soul. This was given in the first Self-Realization Fellowship Temple on 29th of July 1939. Why is it that when some people speak, everyone is enthralled, while others can talk about the same thing and no one is interested? Even with all their obvious faults, dictators are able to wield tremendous influence. What is the secret of this power? It is called magnetism. Everyone is divinely endowed with personal magnetism. Then why do some obviously possess it and others seem not to? It is because very few know how to develop that magnetism. It lies dormant in most people. Many of the faculties the Lord has given us remain dormant within for lack of use. Some of you have gone through life without cultivating your health potential through proper exercise. And what is the result? Premature old age and disease. When you think of physical development, you don't mean strengthening one arm and ignoring the rest of the body. Someone with a peanut-sized head and a large body would appear disproportionate. Your development will likewise be disproportionate if you cultivate only some of your God-given mental faculties and not the others. What is magnetism? Hypnotism has been called animal magnetism. It is some sort of mental chloroform administered through the suggestions of the hypnotist. But spiritual magnetism is something different. It is the power of the soul to attract or create whatever it needs for all round happiness and well being. The magnetism of most people is not so highly evolved. It is predominantly on the plane of animal or physical magnetism, subject to the cosmic hypnosis of Maya or world delusion, and functions primarily on the level of materialism. The effect of dietary habits on magnetism. There are many factors that affect the development of magnetism. First, consider the kind and quantity of food you eat. Overeating and wrong eating are dangerous to the development of magnetism because of their adverse effects on the vital forces in the body. Those who overload their systems with meat, for example, diminish their magnetism. That is also true of other foods not suited to the body. On the other hand, pure foods such as fresh fruits increase magnetism. As to the quantity of the food ingested, it could be just enough that when you leave the table, you're still a little hungry. Don't fill yourself to the gills. Overloading the stomach drains the inner life force and causes a loss of magnetism. Those who consistently overeat are not magnetic, whereas those who fast regularly increase their magnetism. Your body should be always under control. It should not control you. Those who don't fast usually fear that If they go without food for even one day, they are surely going to die. Yet, when you are on a long fast, you find that after a time, your hunger is gone and you lose all desire for food. Unless you know how, it is dangerous to fast for a long period. But when you know what you're doing, it is all right. The body's vital forces are enslaved by overeating. But by regular fasting for 1 to 3 days at a time, they become revitalized, increasing the body's magnetism. You, the soul, are far more than the perishable body of flesh. In fasting, you discover that it is the cosmic energy or prana in the body that actually sustains you. This intelligent energy, which has become dependent on food, learns to depend more on itself. By fasting, you train the body to rely more on cosmic energy. Jesus pointed this out when he said, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." The mouth of God is a subtle center in the medulla through which divine life energy, the word, flows into the body from its cosmic source. During a fast, hold to the consciousness that you are not starving yourself, that the cosmic energy is sustaining you. You will be astonished to see how this energy flows into your body directly, not through the agency of food. You haven't known about this power, the real sustainer of life, and that is why you are enslaved by food. Suppose you stuff food into the stomach of a dead man's body. Will it digest the meal and become full of energy again? No, it will remain lifeless. But if you put food in the stomach of a living man, what happens? It will be digested. This shows that it is not the food that gives life, it is the prana or intelligent life force in the body that changes the food into energy. That life force has become so enslaved by identification with the body that it thinks it cannot sustain the body without food. But Jesus reminded us otherwise. Prana enters the body with the soul at the time of conception, and throughout one's life, it is constantly replenished through the mouth of God. Fasting is one way you can develop the self sustaining power of that inner energy. Fasting cleanses your blood and gives rest to your organs. A revitalized energy begins to flow through your eyes, hands, and feet. Thus, when you are fasting, you can transmit more healing energy to others when praying for them and practicing the self realization healing technique. As soon as you begin to realize you are living on cosmic energy and not on the gross substances, your body becomes magnetic. A different quantity of magnetism comes into you. These are the great things you learn. The vibrations of the whole world pass through your body. There is a constant exchange of magnetism between you and your surroundings and the people with whom you come into contact. For example, on meeting someone, you may become aware that something is happening to you. You're actually receiving a current from that person. In order to receive another's magnetism, you must be near him. When you shake hands with someone, a magnet is created and you exchange magnetism. If you are the more powerful or the positive one, you will give the other person your vibration. But if you are the weaker, you will receive his vibrations. This explains why people unconsciously like to shake the hands of famous men and women. All actions, both positive and negative, create vibrations in the ether. These vibrations are everywhere present. When you are in the environment of these vibrations, they pass through your body just like radio waves. If you live or associate with people who are doing wrong, you will feel the magnetic vibration of their wrongdoing, no matter how you try to avoid it. Weak minded individuals should by all means shun the company of those with bad habits. Only the strong minded can mingle with such persons and help them to change without being adversely affected themselves. That is the law. If someone drinks and the magnetism of his habit is more powerful than your will to refrain from drinking, don't associate with him. When you mix with the persons of poor habits, you must be sure that your magnetism for good is greater than their negative magnetism. Self-styled teachers and reformers who don't protect themselves by first developing strong spiritual magnetism are apt to fall victim to the bad vibrations of those they try to help. When I shake hands with someone or I am with others, I give magnetism. And sometimes when I want to receive their vibrations, I receive. But when I don't want to receive, I don't tune in. I keep myself out of range. Because I have developed a strong magnetism, my current is more powerful and I can shut out all unwanted vibrations. These mysteries of existence I see all the time, and people think they're just so many pounds of flesh. Calmness protects you from negative vibration. It has been shown that 6 years of man's life are cut off because he lives in the midst of noisy vibrations, of too much noise. When you are nervous, you are more receptive to disturbing vibrations of all kinds, which further affect the nervous system. When you are calm, irritating vibrations cannot disturb you. They get at you when you are cranky and nervous. But the minute you become calm and strong in mind again, they cannot touch you. Change and strengthen your own vibrations by thinking, I am peaceful, I am happy. Day after day, affirm that thought, and you will develop that peaceful or happy magnetism. If you find that your environment isn't suited to your goals, find another that will aid you. By changing to the right environment, you help to develop your magnetism and to change yourself for the better. Mix with those people who are models of what you would like to be. If you want business magnetism, mix with businessmen. Keep your clothes and body clean and neat, and wherever you go, conduct yourself with the consciousness that you are the master of yourself. If you want to be a writer, seek those who have a literary vibration. If you want to be saintly, mix with the holy people. How to steal magnetism from the saints? Great saints don't waste their time. You have to convince them of the urgency of your heart. Then they will be attracted to you and you can steal magnetism from them. Automatically, you will get their vibration if you are near them. But you can also feel their magnetism thousands of miles away because of their spiritual vibrations, which are limitless. I receive the vibrations of my Guru Sri Yukteswar all the time, even though he is now reborn on another plane. When he was still living in India, I used to feel his vibration. In this way, I came to know intuitively that he was going to leave his body, and then he wrote to me telling me he was just waiting for my return to India. I told Mr. Lin that I must go to my Gurudeva. He had waited 15 years for me, and I knew if I didn't go then, he would be gone. 3 months after my arrival in India, Master left his body. So it is true that you can receive the magnetism of saints even from a great distance because it is so powerful. If you want to be an artist, you have to mix with the artists to live among them. But you can receive magnetism from spiritual persons at any distance. Of course, they have to be spiritually developed in order to give that magnetism, and you have to be receptive in order to feel it. To receive magnetism from spiritual people, you should feel that they are with you as you meditate and pray. That thought brings their magnetism to you immediately. The vibrations of my prayers for others are very strong between the hours of 7 and 11 in the morning. Those vibrations are going on all the time, but they may be especially felt if you tune in during this period. While you're praying, visualize that I am praying with you, and you will feel a great reinforcement of power. Also, if you go to a place where masters have lived, the vibrations there will quicken your realization. That is the value of pilgrimages to holy places. When I went to the Holy Land, I felt great inspiration and realization. Jesus incarnated in that troubled land in a time of great difficulties to show that his magnetism could outride every evil. His divine vibrations are still there, just as strong as when he was physically present. Those who are in tune, when they go there, will feel that presence. But first, one has to meditate and prepare himself. Use your time wisely. Most people spend their time on useless things. Try each day to do something worthwhile so that you feel you have made a contribution, that your life has some meaning. Great magnetism is developed by accomplishing something every day that you thought you couldn't do. Watch your thoughts. All your experiences come percolating through your thoughts. It is the company of your thoughts that uplifts or degrades you. You see, your whole body is a carriage drawn by five horses, the senses. You, the soul, are the owner and the driver of this carriage. Unless you use the reins of the mind to control these horses, the carriage will go out of control and run into the ditch of disease, suffering, and ignorance. If you want the carriage to carry you successfully throughout life and to take you to God's kingdom, which is your true destination, you must control these five sense horses. Through such control, you will attain self mastery and thus real happiness. Why waste time? Use your time to meditate and to study magazines such as Inner Culture, which inspire you with the right thoughts. You can so easily kill time. A whole life can be wasted. You're the master of the moments of your life. Use them wisely so that they will give you your salvation. Why spend time in cards and useless things? I have seen that people sit and play cards for hours on end in smoke filled rooms. Such a waste of life in the most vicious thing you can do to your soul. So much time is consumed and it gives you nothing in return. For relaxation, it is better to get out and walk and have some healthful exercise. Don't be a chatterbox. And if you would have magnetism, don't talk too much. Don't be a chatterbox. Talk, talk, talk. Idle talk dissipates your magnetism. It is also dangerous because those who talk too much always end up saying the wrong thing. These little words that come out of the cannon of the mouth have the power to explode empires, or if they come from the man of wisdom, to bring peace. The person who talks too much is a shallow thinker and has very little magnetism. But when a silent man of wisdom talks, people listen. That is how my Guru was. When he spoke, his words were full of meaning and power. Otherwise, he was silent. As soon as two or more people get together, each one wants to be heard and no one wants to listen. Learn to listen more, to sit quietly and enjoy the company of others. Edison and one of his friends used to sit together and say hardly a word. And when they parted company, they said goodbye. We have had a wonderful visit. When you do talk, give your whole attention to the person you are talking to and talk sense. When you speak with your soul, everyone will want to listen. The power of the whole world and the truth of God will be behind your words. You will change others with your words. That is magnetism. If you would develop magnetism, you must also learn to introspect and keep a daily mental diary of what you have done. You will be surprised at the amount of time wasted in doing nothing. Whoever would be great should analyze himself in this way. Every night, sit still and ask yourself, what have I done today? This will help you to see clearly how you can use your time more wisely. If you remember just this one key, you will become a different person. As soon as you take control of your life and start doing what you should do, your willpower is developing, and so is your magnetism. Our only savior is our willpower. Will is the switch that controls everything in this universe. If you don't exercise your willpower, you will be a weakling, easily influenced by your environment. Development of the will is the secret of magnetism. Men of success are men of great willpower. When you develop will, no matter how you are pounded down by life, you rise again and say, I am successful. I can win. Suppose you tell yourself, now today I will find time to meditate. Do it. Sit for at least a few minutes. The next day, resolve to stay a little longer in meditation. And the next day, in spite of obstacles, make a little more effort. Accomplish something by your will. That is how to develop magnetism. The magnetism of unselfish love. Cultivate within yourself that spiritual magnetism which is in Christ and Krishna and Masters. In order to do this, you have to become unselfish. You must express selfless love for all. Try always to be helpful. Develop your usefulness to your family, to your community, to your friends. Be willing to help wherever you are. That makes you a magnetic person. If you want friends, you must learn to love all unselfishly. To use anyone for selfish ends is wrong. Very few persons love you for your own sake. But if you can love others without any motive, then you can have divine magnetism. Remember the truth. The husband should love the wife out of friendship, not because of her physical beauty. You should think of your friends not because of their riches, attractiveness, or power, but because you love them. The magnetism of the unselfish love for all evolves when you are always ready to help others without any motive but to be a friend. Let God flow through you. Among the people who have come to me, there have been some that I immediately told, your motive is not right, change your motive. A few have not liked it, but others have changed. Nothing is gained from being a hypocrite. The smartest person can't hide what is in his eyes. The whole story of one's life is written there. If you know how to recognize another's nature by his eyes, and you always pray, Lord, I want to know the truth about this person, I don't want to be deceived, you will feel right in your heart what his nature is. You will never make a mistake. When you are talking to others, hold the eyes of the one you are talking to and speak with all the force of truth and love of God behind your words. And when you shake hands, do so consciously so that you give the magnetism of your sincere friendship. Try to help that person. Be positive and develop your own spiritual magnetism, and you will have the power to change others. With the eyes, you can convey that magnetism. Just look at the one you want to help and think, God's blessing is flowing through me. Never feel you are the doer. Let God flow through you continuously. Then, wherever you go, you will be a magnet. Even at a distance, you can change an enemy. Just send him your love. One of my students told me how he had practiced this after hearing one of my lectures. An associate had maligned him and had ruined his business. But still, whenever he thought of this man, he kept on giving him love. One day the student met him and treated him as if nothing had happened. They were coming down in the elevator together, and when they reached the outside, the student offered him a lift in his car. All the time, he was mentally giving him love. A few weeks later, the man came to the student and said, I must talk with you. I haven't been able to get you out of my mind. I wronged you. Now I must go from person to person to right the wrong I have done. And that he did. So if someone makes himself your enemy, go on trying to be kind to him. Be friendly from your heart and do something by which he will know you want to be friendly. If that doesn't work, just silently give him love. He will change. Love is powerful. It absolutely will conquer. But it is wrong if your motive is to control that person. Never misuse the power of love, but continuously increase it to help others. It is the ego that keeps God away. From childhood, I noticed that people always seemed drawn to me. In this connection, I remember one great lesson that my guru taught me. In his ashram, there was a boy named Kumar who was very jealous of me because the others sought me out and because Master had placed me in charge of the ashram duties. One day, Master said to me without explanation, "You go back to the sweeping from today. I am placing Kumar in charge." And I said, "All right, Master." I didn't get angry. I accepted it, for I had faith in Master's great wisdom. This boy then began to tyrannize over me, among other things, asking me to shine his shoes. I did so. But even though he was in charge, the other boys still kept coming to me and not to him. One day I overheard Kumar complain to Master that I was undermining his authority because the ashram devotees still came to me and not to him. Master replied with firmness, "That is what I wanted you to learn. He does his work without complaining and with the right attitude. Even though he was put in the lowest position, his servicefulness and right behavior make him a natural leader. And you see, because you have not learned how to behave, you cannot lead others, even though you are placed in charge." Master relieved him of his position and gave it back to me. Don't be filled with ego. Take the back seat. That will make you magnetic. So long as the ego will be bobbing you inside of you, God will never be there. He stays away. To the egotist, he says, "You are but a little spark, and yet you extol yourself so much. I own the whole universe, but I remain silent in the background." When you are with God, you have everything. The millionaire, the billionaire cannot make you bow down. My elder brother Ananta used to say how hopeless I was because I would fly school and spend my time in meditation instead. He often told me that my life would be worthless like dry leaves that fall. But I replied, "Dry leaves can make wonderful fertilizers, brother." Ananta acquired a good position and money, but he lost his life early to illness. The love of God is all consuming. When I entered this path, everyone thought I was crazy. I used to sing my songs of devotion to God, and some in my family lamented that I had gone wrong. Whenever I sang, they used to hide themselves in sorrow for me. But in time, I convinced them that they were mistaken. Then they also began singing my songs of love for God and trying to meditate. They became my students right in my own home. That is very unusual, for as it is said, a prophet is without honor in his own country. The love of God, the love of the Spirit, is an all consuming love. Once you have experienced it, it shall lead you on and on in the eternal realms. That love will never be taken away from your heart. It shall burn there, and in its fire you shall find the great magnetism of the Spirit that draws others onto you and attracts whatsoever you truly need or desire. I tell you truthfully that all my questions have been answered, not through man, but through God. He is. He is. It is His Spirit that talks to you through me. It is His love that I speak of. Thrill after thrill, like gentle zephyrs, His love comes over the soul. Day and night, week after week, year after year, it goes on increasing. You don't know where the end is. And that is what you are seeking, every one of you. You think you want human love and prosperity, but behind this, it is your Father who is calling you. If you realize He is greater than all His gifts, you will find Him. In the science of yoga meditation, India has given the answer to how to find Him. I traveled throughout that land. I sat at the feet of a true master. I am not only convinced that God is, but I give you my testimony of His presence. If you heed my words from your own realization, you too shall someday say that God is. You shall know I tell you the truth. Every blade of grass, every spark of fire, every thought you think testifies to His presence, His intelligence. He is the source whence all things come. But you are not conscious of Him. India specialized in the science of going to that source. God is not partial. Whoever has asked for Him and sought Him has received Him. Everything you have desired in your heart in this and all former lives is fulfilled in Him. Concentrate on the source of all power. India has shown you the technique by which you can do so, meditation. When you read a wonderful book on science or study about the body or the mind, you realize how many things you didn't know before about yourself and the world you live in. But if you use that time to meditate, to become attuned to God, He who has created you and all things, you will gain so much more. Scientists do not make discoveries by prayer alone, but by application of the laws of nature. Similarly, God comes to him who follows the law, who applies the science of meditation. People have wandered in the forest of theology and have lost themselves. In vain I went from temple to temple seeking God, but when I found the soul temples in the great lovers of God, I saw that He was there. He is not bribed by beautiful edifices. He comes to the tear washed altar of your heart that is continuously calling unto Him. God is real. The masters who have devoted themselves to meditation for years and years have found Him. Listen to what the Spirit of God has to tell you. It is from my own experience of truth that I talk to you. You don't want to listen to a spiritual Victrola. You want to hear what the Spirit of God has to tell you. Whatever I say to you is from Him and for your highest welfare. I am not for sale. I cannot be bribed. I came here to serve. When the Lord calls me, I will walk out. I am here only to give you the truth. And those who shall receive, with them I shall be pleased. I have spoken before thousands, but I want you to know that it is so much as this temple and this environment, and for you who are sincere in your wish to seek God, that I stay. I know those who are marching towards God, great shall be their reward. It is my duty and privilege to be here with you in this garden of souls and to speak to you of God. When you enter these grounds, speak no evil, hear no evil, and see nothing negative. And you will feel the sacred vibrations that are always present. I have never talked of anything negative here. That is why the vibrations are so pure. I want you to observe this also. to be only positive and pure minded. For in such temples of the mind, God loves to come and stay. By study and meditation, each one of you can charge your soul with His power so that you will also speak with the voice of God. That is the kind of magnetism you want to have. Meditate deeper and deeper every day, and you will acquire tremendous magnetism. I have seen some who come to the ashram and from the beginning try to teach us when it is they who need to change themselves. Such persons do not belong in the ashram. We look for those who are harmonious and humble and who will cooperate 100% with the work of our line of masters through self realization. My greatest wish is to change souls, to turn them towards God. For this purpose, I used to concentrate on healing. But I found that when the body was made well, the student was satisfied and left. My interest is in those who seek to be healed of ignorance, man's greatest sickness. Those who want God and come to me with receptive hearts shall never be the same again. They shall realize a great truth. When this I shall die, then will I know who am I. In this body, it is not Yogananda anymore, but He. Now pray with me. Heavenly Father, charge my body and my mind with Thy magnetism, and be Thou established in my soul, that I may be spiritually magnetic. By my love for Thee, I shall attract Thee unto me, and in Thee I shall have all things whatsoever I truly need. Om. Amen. Thank you all for listening to this audio talk by Paramahansa Yogananda in tribute to my son Arnav. And thank you for co creating this new earth of highest vibration. Lots of love.